aka Croup, checking in for the Sun Sign series. If you are happen to have Sun in the 11th house, this video is definitely for you. Or if you're coming to just learn about astrology, welcome to Me Humble Abode. I am your cosmic rootwork astrologist specializing in evolutionary astrology. You could definitely check me out on all social media at A Rainy Storm. I am currently doing personal readings on a tip base, barter and trade basis. So y'all make sure y'all go check that out. I also have courses available, bookings, event bookings available as well. And also, you want to definitely check me out, my membership on Patreon, as well as my new podcast that I have just dropped. All those links are below. Make sure you subscribe to my newsletter to get a free course in the houses of astrology. And I think that is about it on the I think so. Other than that, let's talk about it. What is the sun? First and foremost, the sun in astrology is where things become illuminated wherever they touch. This is where we see the energy of Leo, because the sun rules over Leo and the energy here. And so this is where we see our vitality, our energy. And it's kind of like the moon here because it's this illumination of sorts, but it's more so like the present lessons that you've come to learn. And so your environment shows you a lot about your sun sign and the energy and the lessons, like I said, that you've come to pretty much learn in this lifetime. Now, when we talk about the 11th house, this is the energy of Aquarius, which is an opposite of Leo. It's on the opposite end of Leo. And this is where we focus on like humanitarian pursuits. This is where we focus on collective groups, progressing humanity forward. So you could be learning the lessons of also friendship as well. With this particular sun energy, learning about friendships and collective groups and learning how to work with collective groups, or maybe having like a higher purpose or mission within a collective group. There definitely could be like long-term visions and goals that you have, particularly in this lifetime, that you want to actualize, especially having the sun in the 11th house as well in here. You could be a part of or affiliated with some type of group or organization or secret society, even with the sun in the 11th house. And so maybe you have a group of or a collective group or working within a collective group in this lifetime, and y'all have like a greater or common goal. Now, this can be a couple of different ways. It doesn't necessarily also always have to be humanitarian pursuits. It could definitely see a group like a corporation as well. Now, I do believe with this new, times that we moving into, I wouldn't say that the people watching this, not to say that everybody's watching this, but the people watching this are moving in those ways. But you could become a part of a corporation. But, as those things crumble, I don't exactly know. Some people gonna go one way and other people gonna go the other way. You know what I'm saying? This is where you can also see cult-like groups as well, or cult followings. This is where you can see just really one of the biggest lessons I think taken from the 11th house is learning, honestly, how to work with others. A lot of times I would say, especially sun in the 11th house is illuminating friendship groups. Maybe, for example, in a past life, you've had like a betrayal in a friendship group, or you didn't really know exactly how to work with friendships and groups and others. And so this lifetime is teaching you how to do that. This lifetime is teaching you how to really maneuver, yourself within a collective group. It kind of reminds me of like seventh house energy to a certain degree, but more so in a space of like, having platonic friendships and partnerships that, you're learning how to lean on others. You could have lessons of learning how to lean on others for help, or learning how to lean on others for support, or community, collective group support and things like that. That's one thing that's coming. That's another thing that's coming up for me, I would say, with this particular sun in the 11th house. I will say, especially with here, especially as we move into Pluto and Aquarius, and I know this is like just in general scope right now, but just be very aware of cult-like groups and organizations. Coming into this next 20-year transit, happening January 2024 in Aquarius in the next 19 to 20 years. Just be wary of being a part of, not necessarily being a part of groups per se, but joining groups that have a greater agenda that don't necessarily align fully. All I would say, if they seem to be something that is controlled in a space of where you cannot move and grow, it's probably a cult. Okay. You know, if you're not allowed to have like your own thoughts, your ideals and beliefs, it's probably a cult. Okay. You know, take it for what you will, but that's how we come in. So that's what I have to say about Sun in the 11th house. We're going to finish this series off with Sun in the 12th house. And then we're going to move on to that Moon in Moon through the houses series after that. So y'all make sure y'all check me out. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know what it is. It's a rainy sun checking in, checking out without a doubt. Deuces.